I like these stories, and I like the transaction of Brookfield on the Potsdamer Platz end of last year, due to not to the story, but to the explanation why invest in the center of Berlin sounds reasonable, but then to do with a nearly 25-year-old assembly of a lot of buildings. We'll call it aged, but so I'm happy to hear the story going forward on that, just by making investments by 1.7 or 1.8 billion dollar. So this is for me the deal of the decade, and not all these gentlemen the last 9 years, because you can make it measurable if they failed or not. And to be honest, some of them really failed.
Okay, Sascha.
Well, I do believe that that one of the major things that we have to come up with solutions for is affordable housing in this country, from a social stability, etc. And it was, in my personal opinion, it was an opportunistic hedge fund from the US that was the beginning of all these big listed residential companies that we have in Germany now. So it was, I think it's almost 9 years or 10 years ago, or maybe 11 years ago, that Cerberus made the first transaction in the residential market in Germany. And funny enough, it was these kind of Texas cowboys that were creating an environment that we now have a real mature residential players that are really competitive enough to create. So I do hopefully they will be able to create affordable housing for the community here in Germany.
I'm going to be a very bad host and say our own sale of Aqua last year, simply because we did it. But I do believe that we hit a very sweet timing pocket in this part of the cycle. We could also use the Pegasus deal that we sold off back in the time. That was also very good timing as well. And it's the only deals that I know in detail, so I know exactly what came out of it and if we hit all the triggers that we needed. From the outside, there's so many deals out there and so many clever participants in this very, increasingly professional and transparent market that is attracting proper talent finally. There's a lot of deals out there that I've admired and looked at and would have loved to have done. And trying to say one thing for a decade is extremely difficult, so I'll just stick to the asset or the deal that I know best, and that would be our own sale last year.
Great. Alexander, are you sticking with one, or have you...
No. There are two things. One, and forgive me, this is more London-focused, but in 2009, at the end of 2008, beginning of 2009, when there was no finance, there was no valuations, there were no transactions, I was involved for my previous employer in a transaction in the city of London. We didn't get ours over the line, but London and Stamford, in the absence of any market valuation, bought one fleet place at the very simple understanding it's well let, well located, good asset, had its niggles, in the city of London at around £500 a foot, and the guts to do this, and the understanding that very rarely do really the wheels come off the wagon completely. To get this done was absolutely amazing, and I admired their A, foresight, and B, their guts. The other deal of the decade, and it's very difficult, I agree with Philip, to sum up a decade, was Blackstone's creation and part disposal of Logicor. Out of nothing, create one of the biggest logistics companies at a time when logistics is changing so dramatically, getting it right with the timing, getting it right with the product, and then spinning it out. Hats off to them. Huge from a vision point of view.
Thank you very much to the panel. Thank you.